What's up? What's up? What's up to all my frugalistas, my thriftinistas, and my flipperistas? It's your girl Goddess of Rami, and I'm showing you how I made this very sexy two-piece. Well, it's a three-piece actually, but we'll get into it. I forgot to do video recordings after I took my pictures, but let's just get into it. First thing I'm going to do is take this Walmart fabric that I got. I got 2 yards of it in a pre-roll in the remnants section. And I just knew it was so pretty, I just had to get it. So all I did was take it and I folded it in half lengthwise, and then I folded it in half again. That way I have 4 different layers and I only have to cut the skirt out one time. I am an advocate of this method ever since I found it. Why waste time cutting things out twice when you have a way to cut it out once? So here you'll see that it's folded in half, and I'm just about to fold it in half again. So once I get my 4 layers, I'm going to take my favorite fitted skirt. I use this skirt in a lot of my skirt transitions because it fits me the way that I like, and I like for my skirts to fit how I like them to like. And I start to cut that out, and you see my other phone sitting on my table because I'm recording for TikTok as well. Most of you probably have come from said TikTok to figure out how to make this outfit. So I'm giving myself about a 1/4 inch of seam allowance. This fabric is pretty stretchy. It stretches both ways. So I'm just cutting along that. And the measurement that I'm cutting down to is the measurement that I made when I measured from the top of my waistline down to my feet. And that's what I am cutting out. So I'm going to set that to the side. And we're going to move on to the top that I made to match. This is just a basic bandeau crop top, and I used a previous crop top that I liked the way it fitted, and I cut that out. And I cut that out using that same 4-layer method so that I only had to cut it out once. And I actually ended up cutting this a little too small. Should have gave myself a little bit more seam allowance. The bazookas are bigger than what I thought they were. The next step that I'm going to do is unfold that skirt. You'll see that shape that I was looking for, and it's 2 layers now that I've unfolded it. And I'm also going to unfold that top just so you can get a gist of what it looks like before we get the sewing. Now all I'm going to do is sew down both sides of the top and the bottom using a zigzag stitch, giving myself about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And this is just footage for the girls who like to see me sew. You know, I guess I gotta prove sometimes that I actually did make this stuff. So I'm just sewing, and I'm just sewing, and I'm just sewing, and this is actually my favorite thing to do, you know, is to watch the stitches come together. I'm looking in the back of the machine, watching how well my stitches are going in, and I love that. With this, you don't really have to stretch it too much because the material is already stretchy. So from here, we're going to move on to the next step. Now the next step, I'm going to finish the top, and I'm just going to create a casing at the top, because with these tops, you really want to go ahead and put some elastic, or you'll have those little flappy pieces that you just really don't want to deal with. And I'm going to measure around the top of my bust with the elastic, and I'm going to stretch it a little bit. Oop, I popped myself with it and it did not feel good, but anyways, moving on. And then I'm going to measure around the bottom of my bust, my under bust, with the same elastic. I think it's this 1/4 inch elastic. I have a whole roll of this and I use it all the time, and I'm about to run out. I need to get some more. It's fairly cheap on Amazon actually. So those are my 2 pieces, and I'm just going to do the same thing with 1 inch elastic around my waist. My body looked real good in this video. In the background, you can see my murder dogs playing. Oh my goodness. So I went ahead and created those casings around the top of the bandeau and the bottom of the bandeau, and then I did the same thing for the top of the skirt, but I might have footage of that later on in the video. I can't remember. I'm recording so many of these videos lately, trying to get my numbers up and trying to get my views up and trying to get paid, honey. Trying to get paid to teach y'all how to do what I do, because your girl gotta pay her rent. So I went and took a safety pin and the longer piece of elastic, and I put that through the top of the bendo crop top thingy. And then I attached a safety pin to the end of it, and I just scrunched it right on through that casing that we made earlier. And I scrunched it through, and I just pushed and pulled. And sometimes this can be a little daunting, and it's one of my least favorite parts of sewing, but we need that elastic. We need it to be in there so that it can stay put, and that it can just snatch up to our body the way that we would like it to, because that's how we like things to be around here. You know what I'm saying? So I just took my time and I fed that elastic and that safety pin all the way through until I came back out to the other edge. And I don't know why this clip is so long, but it does take a while. So maybe you just need to see that it's not really that quick of a process, you know? But get into it. That's what we're doing. We're getting into that casing. We are getting that elastic fed all the way through there until we come out on the other side. And then we are just going to pull that elastic out. If we ever make it to that point, this clip is extraordinarily long. But once I get it out, I'm going to pull the other one, overlap it. I'm going to use a zigzag stitch, and I'm going to go forward. And then I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to back stitch. And then I'm going to go forward again. And then I'm back stitch because I don't want my elastic to pop. Okay? I've had it happen a few times, so I'm going to make sure that I really secure that elastic. And then I'm going to close that opening that we made. All right, now moving on to the fun part. We are taking a piece of cardboard and this little vanity mirror, and we are tracing around it to make a half circle because we're going to lay our skirt flat. We're going to use this as a template to make those huge circles that is seen in this skirt. This part was actually pretty daunting. That's one of my favorite words, by the way. This part, I was like, I'm really about to cut these big old holes in my work. But it came out so cute, so I ain't tripping. So I'm just going to take those circles, take that circle, and I'm going to cut a big circle right in the side of my skirt. Like, this is crazy that I'm even doing this, but I love the look. So then I'm going to take that circle that I just cut and use it as a template to cut around the other spots where I want the circles to be. And on the other side, you will see that I kind of, what do you call it, did like a brick pattern, so where they're not completely next to each other, but, bricked away from each other. Then I took those open edges and I folded them in, and I created a hem around all four of the circles. Don't forget to do that. I don't think that I got a chance to film that or show that here, but I did hem around all of the openings that I cut because I didn't want my fabric to fray. And this is where I'm creating that casing for my elastic. I went ahead and sewed that elastic. I gave y'all so much footage earlier that, you just gotta deal with the roll with the punches here, baby. Like, you see what you see and see what you don't see. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that may mean. But I made the casing and I took that 1 inch elastic, and just as before, we are sitting here again watching me feed elastic through a casing. I bet y'all know how to do that now, like, cause y'all got all the footage of that. Y'all got all of that footage. Y'all saw me feeding some elastic today. Y'all, if y'all don't know nothing, y'all better know how to feed some damn elastic, okay? Because, oh my goodness, it is still going. Girl, I can't tell you why that clip lasted so long, but we're gonna move on to the underwear that I made. I got this pattern from Gigi's Patterns here on YouTube. If you just search Gigi Bikini, you will find her page. I used her pattern. In her video, she did 2 layers, but because I won't be using this in the water, I just did 1 layer. Once I cut it out, I'm just gonna sew along the crotch and the 2 sides, and we'll get here to this point. So then I'm going to take that 4th inch elastic and I'm going to take it and sew it down. And I did this on both leg holes and the waist. So I just took that elastic and I placed it under my presser foot, and I sewed along the edge of the waistline along as the leg holes as well. And I just tacked it down right along the edge, or as close to the edge as I could get it, until I was completely done all the way around. And once I got done, whenever we get to that part, because y'all know my clips be long, why? I don't know. When I have time to cut them down, I just want y'all to see the grind of what it's really like. I don't want y'all to get into this fantasy world of thinking that it's very quick. It's not. It takes a lot of time and finagling and moving fabric around and folding and unfolding and straightening, and it takes all of that when you're sewing, especially if you're like me and don't like to sew with pins. It takes the time. So sometimes I just like to let you guys see the work that comes in with it. And I have my elastic spool up there where my bobbin goes, just to make it easier to access, where I'm trying to pull the elastic from. So like I said, I just tacked it down all along that edge, and I'm going to show you in just a few seconds what I did to close it up and to create a seamless hem. And then next thing you know, you're going to know how to make underwear. All you have to do is go over to Gigi's. She has them all on her website. Some of them are free, some of them are not, but she has really great patterns that you can use. Once I was done tacking that down, I put it right back on my machine, and I just flipped it over on itself on the wrong side, and I did that stitch all over again. I used a zigzag stitch, and I just sewed right over the top of that elastic and the edge. I always make sure to zigzag stitch and that I'm zigzagging on the edge of the folded over fabric. That way I don't have any raw edges, and I'm just sewing from, it's kind of in between, um the needle goes in between the raw edge and the main fabric, so it's like back and forth, and it creates a solid looking hem. And this is basically going to be our last step, and this is what your underwear should look like. Now you know how to make panties. That's the last step, and you can just put your three-piece outfit on, and this is what you will get, and this is what it'll look like. And I appreciate you ladies for coming through to vibe with me and learn how to make this. Make sure you connect with me on social media, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.